Ten a.m. For the recess meeting of the DeSoto County Board of Education. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will next approve the agenda. Mr. Superintendent, do you have a recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the agenda.
All right, do I have a motion?
I make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. Mr. Superintendent, your report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Right now, we're getting into the final stretch of the summer, getting ready for the upcoming school year. And we've got all kinds of activity at schools. Athletics are starting practice, bands starting practice. We're getting final touches as far as the facilities and everything. And our next board meeting will actually be on the first day of school. So it's that time of year. I just have one other item. Each of you have a copy of a memorandum of understanding and MOU that our board had already considered in the past, but it's now been provided with the signatures from the Sheriff's Department and the Board of Supervisors. And I just want to make a recommendation to the board to please approve the MOU, which has been presented to you.
Okay. We're doing an executive session.
We can't hear.
Okay. Then do I have a motion for the approval of the MOU presented before you?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That concludes my superintendent.
Attorney's report.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. We have one matter that needs to be taken up in executive session. It's a construction contract matter, and we'll take that at that time.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next will be the approval of the minutes. Do I hear anyone with a motion to approve the minutes?
I make that motion to approve the minutes of the board meeting on July 6, 2020, 2023.
Perfect. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that approval passes. Moving on to the consent agenda, Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the consent agenda.
Do I hear a motion?
I make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. New business. Mr. Williams.
On my way.
Go ahead. Your first request is for the architectural services of Allen Hochul PLLC for a partial HVAC replacement.
Yes, sir. Seeking permission from the board to enter into a contractual agreement with Allen and Hochul for a partial HVAC replacement project at Lake Forest Middle School.
Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve using the architectural services of Allen Moschel for the partial HVAC replacement at Lake Forest Middle School.
Hearing the superintendent's recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, you have a request for permission to advertise for bids related to the partial HVAC replacement.
Yes, sir. Requesting permission from the board to advertise for bids on a partial HVAC replacement at Lake Forest Middle School.
Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve advertising for bids for the partial HVAC replacement at Lake Forest Middle School.
Recommendation, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, you have bids for copy paper for 2023 and 2024.
Yes, sir. Reverse auction was conducted on July the 11th. Copy paper for the district. Had 3 vendors submit bids. My recommendation, accept the lowest and the best bid from per team. Very good.
Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the lowest and best bid from Veritiv for the copy paper for the 23-24 school year.
Hearing the recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, you have bids for the gymnasium floor replacement at South Middle School.
Yes, sir. Bids were open on June the 27th for the gym replacement project, South Haven Middle. Had 3 vendors submit bids. My recommendation, accept the lowest and best bid from Wagner General Construction.
Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the lowest and best bid from Wagner General Construction for the gymnasium floor replacement at South Haven Middle School.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, you have a contractual agreement with Wagner General Contractors, Inc.
Yes, sir. Requesting permission from the board to enter into a contractual agreement with Wagner General Construction for the gym floor replacement at South Haven Middle.
Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve entering into a contractual agreement with Wagner General Contractors for the gym floor replacement at South Haven Middle School.
Hearing the recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion. I second.
Perfect, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, bids for restroom renovations for Olive Branch Middle School.
Yes, sir. Bids were open on June 27th for the OB middle restroom renovations. My recommendation, accept the lowest and only bid from Bell's Construction Services LLC.
Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the lowest and only bid from Bell's Construction Services for the restroom renovations at Olive Branch Middle School.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, you have a contractual agreement with Bell's Construction Services LLC.
Yes, sir. Requesting permission from the board to enter into a contractual agreement with Bell's Construction for the Olive Branch Middle School restroom renovations.
Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve entering into a contractual agreement with Bell's Construction Services for the restroom renovations at Olive Branch Middle School.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Williams, you have a request to pay vendor purchasing rule issue for Pleasant Hill.
Yes, sir. In your pack is a letter from the principal of Pleasant Hill Elementary, who's also present if we have questions. Explain the circumstances around the purchase of yearbooks prior to opening the PO. The matter has been addressed. And we're requesting permission from the board to pay now for the goods that have already been delivered to the school.
Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the request to pay the vendor for the purchase rule issue of Pleasant Hill Elementary School.
Hearing the recommendation, do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Morning.
Morning, Mr. Williams. You have several things to present, so about that.
Okay, our statement of revenues and expenditures, our revenues collected through May for general funds are at $313,946,428. And that's continuing to hold steady again at 13% over last year. Last year, we were at $278,306,200. Same reason for the increase, that's for MAEP and teacher assistant pay raise. All revenues received through May are at $369,593,821. Our general fund expenditures through May are at $250,468,35, and we're continuing to run 12% over FY22. We expect to be at 15%, so we're still running about 3% under what we have projected in budget-wise. Last year, we were at 224,326,954, and our increasing expenditures are in line with the budget, and again, it is about 3% below what.
Thank you. Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation for the combined balance sheet as of May 2023? Oh, I'm sorry, statement of revenues and expenditures for May of 2023.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the statement of revenue and expenditures for May 2023.
Hearing the recommendations, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Ms. Graves, presenting the combined balance sheet of May 2023.
Fund balance for all general funds is at $183,711,810. That's 13% over FY22. Last year, we were at $162,002,953. Again, same increase. Our revenues are just raising higher than our expenditures, which is a good thing. And we are beginning the trend. We're trending slightly closer to what we are. We're going to see that slow progression. It's going to be a slow progression over the next 2 years. So our all funds balance is at $287,989,300.
Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation for the combined balance sheet for May 2023?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the combined balance sheet for May 2023.
Hearing the recommendation, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Ms. Graves, presenting the statement of cash flow for May 2023.
The May cash balance for our district maintenance account, which is our main operating account, is at $174,427,777. 62% of cash balance that makes up 62% of the cash balance for all funds. All funds stands at $280,020,374. And it's going to see a little bit different invested balance because it's now Smith-Shellnut and Regions since we added the investments with Regions. And the invested balance for both is at $47,653,506.
Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation for the statement? Cash flows for May 2023.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the statement of cash flow for May 2023.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Ms. Graves, certification of bank reconciliations for May 2023.
All bank statements have been reconciled with no exceptions.
Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation for the bank reconciliations of May 2023?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the certification of bank reconciliations for May 2023.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Graves. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Ms. Haslem, you are presenting the revised board policy EEAC, student charge meals.
Yes, sir, we're asking to update language within the policy to reflect changes made by the USDA Food and Nutrition Policy.
Super. What is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve the revised board policy EEAC, student charge of goods.
Hearing that recommendation, do I have a motion?
Make that motion.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Thank you. Good morning. Mr. Alexander, you are presenting personnel.
Pages 1 through 7 are recommendations. Pages 8 through 10 are personnel changes. Page 11 is a memo from myself to eliminate a new unit at Hernando High School. It was previously approved as a new unit on July 6th board meeting, but a resignation is taken. Let's use attrition for that position now. Page 12 is a memo for myself to request for approval for exempt employees who hold a CDL to transport students for activities and athletic events. Page 13 is a memo for myself to approve the salary correction for the 24 school year for an employee. Page 14 is a memo from Ms. Hassner, Assistant Superintendent, on the additional teacher unit at Horn Lake High School. This is a class for natural care and grading course, and it will be paid in district funds. Page 15 is a memo for myself requesting an expert citizen for the employee to get this experience at the Delta Technical Colleges for hair and beauty. We have to have that board requesting an expert citizen, which is only available in this type of license at the time. Page 16 is a memo for the samples, our executive director, on a request to pay an employee who was inadvertently left off the list to attend early childhood boot camp. It took place June 12th to June the 23rd. They worked a total of 61.15 hours, and that will be at their daily rate. And then page 17 is also an employee who was inadvertently left off the list. And this employee worked a total of 8 hours, and they're certified, so it would be at the rate of $100 per day. Page 18 is a memo from Coach Jenkins, our director of athletics, on paraprofessionals to help us in the 23-24 school year. Page 19 is a memo from Ms. Hassman requesting 3 additional gifted units that additional units to be paid out of district funds for next year. Page 20 is a memo from Ms. Murray, our EL director, and this is a request for the 8 new EL teachers we have coming on board to give them new hire EL training session. This will take place July 28th from 8 to 4. And they would receive $100 stipend for this training, spending this day in training on July 28th. Pages 21 and 22, the request for additional pay from Ms. Stripley, Chief Academic Officer, on 8th grade teachers who will work 5 hours on July the 19th at $30 per hour. Page 23 and 24 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Treadway, our primary schools director, on pre-K teachers who will work on curriculum units and resources. This will begin July 20th of this year and end June 30th. So they have this school year to take care of up to 56 hours of each one of those at $30 per hour. Page 25 and 26 is a request for additional pay from Ms. Hassman on the counselors who will work to oversee dual credit programs at their schools for this next school year. They'll work a total of 40 hours at their hourly rate of pay. Pages 27 through 29 is the 23-24 DeSoto County Schools part-time employee renewal list. Page 30 is the 23-24 PERS retired sub list. Page 31 is the 23-24 classified part-time employee list. Page 32 is the 23-24 classified part-time employee list contingent upon license renewals. Page 33 is the behavior analyst 200-day salary scale. Page 34 is the 23-24 revised classified pay scale. And then page 35 is a memo for myself on new units for the 23-24 school year. We can get these approved today, and that principal can go ahead and hire that person since our next board meeting will be after the teachers.
Mr. Superintendent, what is your recommendation to the personnel matters?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend the board to approve personnel as presented.
Hearing the recommendation, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. Mr. Culver.
Yes, sir, and that item to be discussed in executive session.
Yes, sir. I need a motion for consideration in closed session to determine whether the board should enter into executive session for the following matters: residency appeal and a construction contract.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we will get back. Mr. Chase will come back and inform you whether we stay in executive session or not.